Chapter 3 The Sea Musketeers. For months, 26-year-old Jacques stayed with a family in Paris and recovered from his accident. One night, he attended a fancy party at Henry Melicour's apartment. With his camera rolling, he spotted a beautiful blonde woman across the dance floor. It was Simone. Jacques and Simone ended up talking for hours that night. They were enchanted with each other. When the Navy said Jacques was healthy enough to return to work, he reported back to the naval base in Toulon for duty. The romance with Simone did not end. She visited him in Toulon often. She and Jacques swam together in the sea and fell in love. A year later, in July 1937, Jacques and Simone were married in Paris. Sailors in crisp formal dress made an archway of swords for the bride and the groom. The newlyweds went back south, settling just 6 miles from the beach near the naval base at Toulon. The next spring, their son, Jean-Michel, was born. On base in Toulon, Jacques was an artillery instructor. He continued his physical therapy, but it was still painful. He refused to take painkillers, and he tired easily. In the fall of 1936, an older officer named Philippe Tellez offered him some advice. Jacques should swim in the nearby Mediterranean Sea. It would be good for his arm. Swimming would be less painful than the exercises that Jacques was doing at the Naval Hospital. One day after work, the two men swam in the sea beneath the cliffs. Tellez was right. Swimming felt good. The two became friends, regularly swimming together after work. The more Jacques swam, the stronger he became. While Jacques exercised, Tellez spearfished beneath the surface. Tellez used aviator goggles for a mask, swimming fins made of saw blades encased in pieces of rubber, and a garden hose that he'd twisted into a J-shaped snorkel. Sometimes he cooked his catch on the rocky beach and shared it with Jacques. When Tellez loaned Jacques his goggles, snorkel, and fins, it changed Jacques' life forever. He was amazed by the sights that were beneath him. Forest of algae, kelp, and seaweed, colorful fish he'd never seen before, starfish covering every rock. Jacques could even make out the thin purple spines of sea urchins. Jacques glanced toward land. With its bustling crowds, rumbling trolley cars, and electric pole lights, back underwater he glimpsed an alien landscape 20 feet down before he'd ever even known it was there. Just as he had been at the lake during summer camp, Jacques was hooked. Tellez introduced Jacques to his friend Frédéric Dumas, known to everyone as Didi. Didi was an accomplished diver who could hold his breath and dive as deep as 65 feet. He was also an excellent spearfisher. One day, on a bet, he speared 280 pounds of fish in just 2 hours. The three became inseparable, calling themselves the Sea Musketeers. Jacques became their unofficial captain. He found ways to improve their equipment, such as protective suits to keep them warm and weighted belts to help them dive deeper. Simone was an honorary member of the Sea Musketeers. She joined the three friends in dives, even while pregnant with Jean-Michel. The Sea Musketeers pushed one another to the limits. To dive deeper, to hold their breath for longer, Jacques grew strong and was soon diving to depths of 50 to 60 feet in a single breath. To most people, this would be a very dangerous undertaking. Jacques and the Sea Musketeers were training their bodies like professional athletes, but they didn't want to win competitions. They wanted to become what Jacques called men fish.